Well, Serovikalla Chhavu is about an art form, a dance form in Jharkhand. It is over three kinds of Chhavu exist: Purulia Chhavu, Mayurbhanj Chhavu, and Serovikalla Chhavu. Serovikalla is a small town in the state of Jharkhand, and this book is about that dance form. But then it is a completely a different kind of a book than what you would normally expect about in a book on dance form. This Serovikalla Chhavu book was done as a kind of a documentation project, research and documentation project carried out for a period of 3 years, and then finally we decided to come out with a coffee table book format for the Serovikalla Chhavu book. Because usually the folklore research publications, they do not lend themselves to any photography book. But then the reason that I opted for a photography book is because that our intention was to bring the heritage back to the practitioners of Serovikalla. See, Serovikalla has been, the dance has been there in existence. It's a masked dance form, and it is a unique dance form, but it is enmeshed in the ritual context of Serovikalla, ritual and the festival context of Serovikalla. People have heard about it. Mahatma Gandhi once watched it, Rabindranath Tagore praised about that, and then there has been it has its own exotic value, and then the government of Jharkhand is also trying to promote it as the new identity of the state of Jharkhandi, identity of the new state of Jharkhand. All that is happening, but then there is within the Serovikalla town itself, there are practitioners of 40-50 groups of practitioners of that dance, number one. Second, the entire district of Serovikalla, if you ask any second person whether they do the Chhavu dance, they will tell you either they are doing the Chhavu dance or they are connected to the music or the practice of it. Almost every citizen of the Serovikalla district is a critique of the dance rather than being a practitioner of the dance. And so our intention, but then the heritage in itself comes to each one of the citizens in a fragmented way, as most of the traditions do. They know bits and pieces of the heritage, but then they do not know in its entirety, in its complexity, and also in its variety. So what the intention of the book is to bring that back to the communities, back to the practicing dancers and also the aspirants. So we opted for a coffee table format to present 3 years of research. So in the coffee table, the advantage of presenting it in a photography book form is that immediately one can see what are all the steps, how many styles are there, how the heritage is passed on, who are the gurus, and how is the innovation taking place within the tradition. So I think the book comes along with a DVD of performances as well. So the Serovikalla Chhavu book makes it a very complete number of them. To start with, that is the mythology that is being enacted and danced in the rituals of the Chaitra Parva festival. Chaitra Parva festival is the ushering in of the new year in Jharkhand, and then the new year, the Jharkhandi Chaitra Parva, as you know, it's also the Vasant Panchami festival, the 5 days they celebrate the festival, and it is mentioned ancient Natya Shastra that once upon a time there were a group of dancers who would like to wear the mask of the god and then act as if they were gods. This is the reason for the Serovikalla dancers wearing a mask and then dancing. So this is where it is happening. So its origin and the practice are very much part of the mythology of pan-Indian mythology. And then it is in the first 5 days of Chaitra Parva festival, each of the day is devoted to one of the yugas of Hindu mythology, Hindu conception of the time, the universal time. Treta Yuga, Kreda Yuga, Kali Yuga, all these kinds of yugas. So each of the day is devoted to Sadhya Yuga. It starts off from the Sadhya Yuga and then comes down to the Kali Yuga. So each of the dance, the repertoire is organized around those. For instance, in the Sadhya Yuga, dances are the creation dances. The creation dances of the Shiva and Shakti. But the Treta Yuga would be about Mahabharata. And then about the Kali Yuga dances will be the contemporary dances. So if you really see, the entire dance form is completely part and parcel of living out a mythology and the folklore and the conceptions of the people. It's not a sudden taking up. There are two reasons for that. One, I'm a creative writer. I'm a creative writer in Tamil and English, and then I have published recently. This is my book a book of short stories, and then this is my essays, collection of essays, literary essays. These two books have just come out for the the last 2 days. I also write fiction in English, and I am a researcher. I am a folklorist. Though I had an organization called National Folklore Support Center, our program of support is for the entire nation. It has been come into existence. It has been established by me in 1997, and then we have been doing research all over India. And the reason that I was attracted to Serovikalla Chhavu in particular is very much because of the dance in I think way back in 1990. I watched for the first time a performance of Serovikalla Chhavu. I have watched Maurya Bunch and then Maurya Bunch Chhavu and Purulia Chhavu earlier, but then I was so attracted to the lyricism of the movement and the way Serovikalla Chhavu performances are for a very short duration. It is for 15 minutes maximum, because they wear a mask. It cannot be for a long time because otherwise you will feel claustrophobic inside wearing a mask and then dancing. But then the lyricism of the movement was very much attracted. I was attracted to that, and then I first wrote a poem, a long poem based on the masks of the god. Then the interest kept coming back. It sort of started haunting me, and then I find in several of my short stories the setting of Serovikalla creeping in quite unconsciously, and then I thought maybe I should do a long-term investigation into the Serovikalla Chhavu dance form, and that's why I took up the research. And since I'm heading an research organization, it was and I did receive a grant from the Tata Education Trust to continue to do the research, so it was all fell in place. So we were able to do a research and then also write about it. Yes, essentially, as you said, in Purulia and Mayurband, the movements are very vibrant and even violent, and then the thumping on the stage and then rotating heavily on the stage. These are all considered to be the hallmarks of artistic performance. But then here in Serovikalla Chhavu, which belongs to the same family of performances, the first thing is the very fact that they use a mask. The dancers use a mask and then they hide their face. What happens is it immediately restricts their scope of expressions, artistic expression. What they have to do is that they have to accomplish most of the artistic movements through their hand gestures and because your facial expression is completely frozen, and the leg movement. So Serovikalla Chhavu has evolved a distinctive set of footwork, which becomes each basic unit, and then if you come, there are 32 footworks that are put together. That forms the vocabulary of Serovikalla Chhavu, which is distinctive from the Purulia Chhavu and the Mayurband Chhavu. And then because it emphasizes the hand movement and also the leg movement, because there is no facial expression possible, it becomes very lyrical. The third aspect is the accompanying musical instruments. It's a long wind instrument, which is a flute-like instrument, and there are songs to which the dancers dance. All these contribute to making a Serovikalla Chhavu a lyrical performance in contrast to the Purulia Chhavu and the Mayurbhanj Chhavu.